At the beginning of a relationship, people often choose a partner based on physical appearance. They enjoy the attraction and excitement, but as time passes, they realize that raising children isn't about looks, it's about values. No matter how successful you are in your career, nothing can make up for failure at home. If people could take back the pain they caused you, you might lose the strength you gained from those experiences. The idea that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with is true. If you really want to understand someone, pay attention to the 5 people they talk to the most. Your friends' problems can easily become your own, and the fewer people you are close to, the fewer problems you have. Once you start to understand your own worth, you will be surprised at how much you used to settle for in your relationships or personal choices. When you laugh, others often laugh with you, but when you cry, you usually cry alone. Missing someone doesn't always mean you need them back in your life. It's just a part of moving on. The real magic you're looking for is often found in the work you're avoiding. Overtrusting others, facing betrayal, or engaging in unhealthy habits like excessive stress or overthinking can drain your energy. These negative patterns lead to feelings of depression, hair loss, and low energy. Learning to say no is important, as is the process of forgiving others and letting go. Holding on to past hurts only keeps you stuck, but forgiveness brings peace of mind and healing. Money can always be earned, so it's not the most important thing in life. Your world won't end just because you don't have a stable income. Life has a way of working itself out. Every person has 3 faces: the one they show the world, the one they show to family and close friends, and the one they keep hidden for themselves. Not everything in life should be your problem. Some things are simply not your concern, and you'll be much happier if you focus on the issues that directly affect you. Rejection, although difficult, is important for personal growth and development. Everyone's journey is different, and no one has all the answers. You'll spend a lot of time figuring things out on your own. Most people stay in the same place because the things they hold most dear act as anchors, keeping them where they are. You don't have to make everyone love you. In fact, sometimes having a few enemies is necessary for success. When you're in a dark place, it can feel like you've been buried, but in reality, you may have just been planted to grow and bloom later. The person who cares the least often holds the most power in relationships. Never sacrifice your own progress for a friend, because they may not do the same if the situation were reversed. The world doesn't care about your potential. It only cares about what you've done. People often spend their health chasing wealth, only to realize too late that they have to spend their wealth to regain their health. Comparing your life to others is always dangerous. Even if it seems like someone else's life is perfect, they have their own problems that you don't know about. It's important to keep your thoughts and opinions to yourself sometimes, because a friend today could be an enemy tomorrow. You will always be judged, no matter what you do. But instead of living to impress others, focus on impressing yourself. Worry is one of the biggest enemies to personal growth. It takes everything from you and gives nothing in return. Spending time regretting your past or crying over things you can't change won't lead to any positive outcomes. If something bothers you, change it. If it's beyond your control, learn to accept it. The only thing you can truly control is your own behavior and how you respond to life. When you wake up in the morning, remember the promises you made to yourself the night before. You might spend your first 20 years worrying about what others think of you. The next 20 years might be spent insisting you don't care about others' opinions. Eventually, in your later years, you will realize that most people aren't actually thinking about you at all. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done before. People often say things when they're happy that may not be true, so be wise and careful of what you hear in those moments. Life is not fair, and sometimes good deeds go unpunished while bad deeds go unpunished. Things will work out when you least expect it, and life has a funny way of surprising us when we aren't looking for it. The ego isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it should not control you. Sometimes we need the ego to help us achieve our goals, but we must remain in control of it. There will always be someone who is better than you at something. You must learn to accept that and take lessons from them to help you grow. Betrayal rarely comes from our enemies. It often comes from people we trust. The hardest part of any journey is the beginning. Just like a rocket uses up most of its fuel during takeoff. A single moment of patience in a time of anger can save you from countless minutes of regret. Success is often a lonely journey. You will need to learn to accept loss and make compromises. Procrastination is a weakness that holds you back from achieving your goals. You won't always have a good day, but you can always face a bad day with a positive attitude. Never compare yourself to others because no one can play your role better than you can. There is no job beneath you. The only thing that should be beneath you is your own ego. Work hard in silence and let your skills speak for themselves. No matter how hard you work, you can't have everything you want. Eventually, we all settle for something in our lives. Owning your truth is challenging, but it's much harder to spend your entire life running from it. Many of the people you confided in have already moved on from your secret, so it's better to keep certain things to yourself. Life is a journey filled with lessons, growth, and change. Stay focused on your goals, embrace the lessons, and don't forget to keep growing. There is one important lesson that is crucial for real personal growth: understanding that you are not the voice inside your head, but the one who hears it. Many people spend their lives identifying with their thoughts, but true growth begins when you realize that you are not your mind. You are the one observing it. This awareness can change everything. People often only want to hear the good news, not the bad. This makes it difficult to find someone to open up to when you're dealing with tough issues. The walls we put up to protect ourselves from the world are also the walls that keep our feelings and troubles trapped inside. Sometimes, we don't even realize when we're seeing someone for the last time. Life has a way of surprising us. You won't truly understand the value of a moment until it's gone and becomes a memory. It's important not to set your expectations too high. The more you expect from something or someone, the more it will hurt if those expectations aren't met. It's better to go in with an open mind and not expect everything to go perfectly. Sometimes you may regret something you said, but you'll never regret choosing silence. There's power in keeping quiet when words won't help. Learning to let go, even when you're right, is a vital lesson. Life is like a boxing match, and defeat isn't about falling down. It's about refusing to get back up. It can be incredibly difficult to move on, but once you do, you'll realize it was the best decision for you. Holding on to things that aren't serving you only hurts you in the end. Don't make promises you can't keep. It's important to be true to your word and to stop letting others take advantage of you. Learn to say no and stand up for yourself. Saying no doesn't upset people as much as we think. When it comes to relationships, never stir up a woman's feelings if you don't plan to love her in return. Relationships require honesty and respect. Also, when talking to people, look them in the eye. This simple act will make you feel more confident and help you connect better with others. Confidence is often built through small, deliberate actions. Find something you truly love, something that inspires you and gives you strength. This could be a passion, a hobby, or a purpose. Having something you care deeply about can be a source of comfort when life gets tough. When you're feeling low, having something to lean on can keep you from feeling lost. Life isn't as complicated as we often make it seem. Much of the confusion comes from our own minds playing tricks on us. If you look closely, things are actually simpler and clearer than we think. Time is one of our most precious resources. Once it's gone, we can never get it back, so use it wisely. You can't change the past, and there's no reset button on life. If you want to love who you are, you can't hate the experiences that shaped you. They all taught you something, even the difficult ones. So, be patient with the process of life and with yourself. Results take time. Sometimes, it's the wait that teaches us the most. If you're not happy with yourself, you'll never be fully happy in a relationship. Being alone is different from being lonely. You can be alone and still feel content, but loneliness is something deeper. Don't let overthinking take over your life. Overthinking only makes things worse. It twists situations, creates unnecessary worries, and magnifies problems that aren't really there. Most of the time, people aren't worth stressing over. A lesson will keep coming back until you've learned what you needed to learn from it. It's important not to reveal too much about yourself to others. Trust your instincts. Sometimes your gut feeling can protect you from potential trouble. Life doesn't give you extra points for tolerating people you don't like, so don't waste your time on them. There's nothing more important to real growth than understanding that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who listens to them. Often, people only want to hear the good things and ignore the bad, which makes it hard to find someone you can truly trust. The walls you build to protect yourself from the outside world also trap everything inside. There are moments in life when you see someone for the last time without even realizing it. Be careful. You won't understand the full value of a moment until it becomes a memory. It's important not to expect too much. The higher your expectations, the more painful it will be if things don't go as planned. When things don't turn out how you hope, the disappointment will hurt more. You may regret things you said, but you'll never regret keeping quiet when you needed to. Sometimes, it's best to stay silent and avoid saying something you might later wish you hadn't. Learn to let go, even if you feel you are right. Life is like a boxing match. Falling down isn't the moment of defeat. Defeat happens when you refuse to get back up after falling. Moving on can be tough, but once you do, you'll realize that it was the best choice you could have made. Never make promises you can't keep. It's important to stand up for yourself and learn when to say no. Many people won't be as offended as you think when you say no, but it's important to know your limits and your rights. When you love someone, don't awaken their feelings if you have no intention of loving them back. Also, when speaking to others, look them in the eyes and face. This simple act will help you feel more confident in front of others. Find something you love, something that can support you when things get tough. You need something to lean on during hard times, something that will keep you going when you feel down. Life isn't as complicated as it seems. Often, our minds make things seem much harder than they really are. If you take a step back, you'll see that everything is simpler than it feels. Time is your most valuable resource, and once it's gone, there's no way to get it back. So don't waste it. In order to truly love yourself, you must accept the experiences that have shaped who you are. You can't hate the experiences that made you who you are today. Be patient with the process, but understand that results take time. If you're unhappy with who you are, you'll never truly find happiness in a relationship. Being lonely and being alone are two very different things. Overthinking can destroy you. It causes unnecessary worry and makes situations seem far worse than they really are. Don't waste time overthinking things that don't need your attention. Unfortunately, many people are simply a waste of time. But remember that every lesson in life has a purpose. You'll never forget the lesson until you've learned what you needed to know. Don't reveal too much about yourself to others. Trust your instincts, because sometimes your gut feelings can protect you from trouble. You don't get rewarded for putting up with people you don't like, and life isn't always fair. Don't complain about it. Learn to be thick-skinned and make the best of what you have. You don't have to be great to start something, but to become great, you must start somewhere. When poverty comes into your life, love and peace often disappear quickly. So it's important not to become emotionally attached to anyone. People change. Even your best friends can become strangers over time. No one cares as much about you as you do. Do what makes you happy and don't worry about what others think. Think carefully before you act. You can take a moment to pause before doing something, and that pause could save you from making a decision you'll regret later. Life is full of challenges. It throws all kinds of things at you: lemons, pepper, salt, and sometimes cold water, but they don't come in any particular order. Keep working hard, and eventually you'll turn all the struggles into something good. Regret won't change your past. If you keep living in regret, it will only hurt your future. Don't live in the past. Focus on what you can do today. Don't place your hopes too high, as it often leads to expectations, and high expectations only make you weaker. Sometimes, people simply won't admit they're wrong, and no matter how much time you spend trying to convince them, it won't change anything. Passion is wonderful and can drive you to achieve great things, but it doesn't solve all your problems. Passion can help you go far in life, but don't think that it will make everything perfect. There will always be someone else who is just as attractive, fun, and qualified as you. So don't let the idea of being unique get to your head. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is to let people be who they are, even if they seem foolish. Instead of reading a quote and thinking, "This is so wise," try to ask yourself, "How can I apply this to my own life?" That's when true growth happens, when you take the lessons from the world and make them your own.